Hey, folks, how are you? Rob Howard here alongside David Cole. This is another edition of Face2Face. David, you're going to get
I point to myself.
You need to put like a little sticky on it so you know where everybody is.
There.
So you can
Is
point
that better?
to here, point to here, whatever. Point to there. Yeah. Welcome, folks. Episode number 14 of Face2Face here on our Facebook page. Of course, you can get all of our content as well. All of these shows end up being put on YouTube as well. So if you're not a subscriber of the eKartingNews YouTube channel, we're going to do a lot more video when we get back to racing later this year. So make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. We then turn these face-to-face interviews into audio podcasts. They run on the EKN radio network. Then they're available for download on iTunes or Google Play as well. And if you haven't downloaded the EKN radio app, you can do that as well at iTunes or Google Play in the App Store to be able to get all of our EKN radio content, push of a button on your mobile device. It is June the 9th, Tuesday, as we work our way in to yet another month. Thankfully, racing is getting going. We have been doing our update, our COVID-19 karting club and series updates on the website. David's been working on that, adding new clubs, new updates. We've had new clubs actually give us information, but David, a lot of new updates coming from clubs as well, as clubs and now series getting ready to fire up here in June.
Yeah, club and series, regional programs, everybody's starting to get that momentum going. We had the Cup Karts North America get going this weekend in Del Mar, Iowa, with roughly 100 entries there for both days. Clubs are getting their 2020 programs underway. Some are already into rounds 2 or 3 as well. We're getting some good news out of California. Some facilities are going to be opening up out that way, especially with the Cal Speed karting circuit. We're hearing is going to be opening soon.
We got Mike Smith pitched down for Thursday.
Yeah, so we're excited. It's exciting for Southern California there, because those guys have, nobody's been racing there.
No.
I think there were a number of them that went and traveled to Grand Junction, Colorado, to race in the Colorado karting tour there. So, Colorado had a big event there. So we're slowly but surely getting there. We're getting closer and closer. It's like it's like getting that fast lap. You're almost there. You're almost there. A little bit here, a little bit there. And so we're almost at full strength. We're not quite there yet, but we're almost there. And
again, all the clubs and series and tracks that are getting going right now, we ask you again, please be the model of consistency and the model of bringing safety precautions to the racetrack. I know there's not a lot we can do as a karting sport. We separate the paddock. We stay away from each other, social distancing. We social distance, I think, as it is, as family units at a racetrack. But let's do what we can, folks. Take care of each other, wash the hands, wear the masks, all the stuff we need to do to make sure that we don't get shut down. Because there are other racetracks around the states that are kind of getting themselves into trouble opening up when they're not supposed to. We're not under the radar. We're where we're allowed to be, but we're not putting up any red flags. Let's put it that way. I do want to thank everyone who has been buying the T-shirts, the hashtag support karting T-shirts. I've talked to a bunch of our clients at eKartingNews, our partners that make us happen. Without them, we wouldn't have EKN. So all those ads that you see on the website and the commercials you hear on EKN Radio and all the podcasts, that's thanks. Without our partners, we wouldn't be even here. David and I wouldn't have jobs. You wouldn't see us at the racetrack, and we wouldn't be bringing Face2Face to you. So with that support karting T-shirt, we're raising money. It's all going to our partners. We appreciate that. They appreciate it as well. I've got the list, made the full list of everybody who posted to social for the social media challenge, hashtag support karting and tag eKartingNews on any of the platforms, a full list. We'll add some more because our first drawing for the gift pack from Style Aesthetic and eKartingNews and the swag is coming on Thursday. I was going to do it today, but we had to get some more names in. So we'll do our first one on Thursday, David. Someone's going to win a bunch of stuff.
And they're going to look good while they're at the racetrack wearing it.
Look cool. You can get a
green, I mean, you don't look good, but the shirt looks good.
What the?
At least you're wearing a hat.
That's horrible. I'm wearing a hat. We're keeping that under wraps, baby.
Come on now.
No, keep it under wraps. All right, so lots of great stuff coming. We talked about Mike Smith from Cal Speed Karting. He's going to join us on Thursday right now. Next Thursday, the following Thursday, I'm setting up to talk to the good folks at Racing for Vets. That's going to be a great program that we're going to bring in kind of educate everybody on that great program out of Ohio. It's tremendous. We'll talk to them on next Thursday. That's when we were able to get all three of the people involved in that together, but more stuff coming as well. Today, a really cool guest joining us here right now. The 206 and hashtag Operation Grassroots program, David, has been really starting to pick up momentum over the last number of years. We've seen huge numbers at the Battle of the Brickyard in the 206 categories, massive numbers going back to Quincy in the Park. At Rock Island, big numbers still in the 206 category. The Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals, maybe the exclamation point with that, with how many numbers they're getting in an all breaks 206 program. But the Buckeye Karting Challenge in Ohio kind of caught me off guard. I want to say it was like March or April last year when I was following them on social media, and they had these huge numbers for the first races of the series. So joining us here today, Scott Smith from the Buckeye Karting Challenge from Fremont Raceway Park. Let's bring Scott in. Probably one of the, I want to say under the radar a little bit, Scott, in terms of this amazing program you guys have developed. But Ohio, very, very lucky to have you guys. And the Buckeye Karting Challenge is absolutely massive.
We're really proud of what we've done in Ohio, and we've got a lot of great tracks and good racers working with us. So the timing was right a couple of years ago when we got the series kicked off, and it's just taken off like a rocket.
I know that you and I did a podcast a while back. Let's kind of re-educate the EKN nation about who you are. Let's talk about your origin story. How long have you been in the sport? We talked before we went on that some of the T-shirts back there are probably dated from before I got in the sport. You're like 30 years plus in karting. Give us some of your origin story.
I've been racing for almost 30 years. When I was a kid, my dad was a track photographer at the local sprint car track and drug me along with him every week. Didn't have to drag me. So
that's right.
I was a track rat. Yeah. But I got the bug early, and when he decided to go racing, we looked at quarter midgets first. They looked really cool, but just weren't that exciting to me. Looked at dirt bikes, a lot of crashes and
broken arms, broken legs.
Exactly. And then we found out there was a kart track literally a mile and a half from our house. Went there, loved it. I've been hooked ever since. I was in 5th grade at the time, so been about 35 years now.
So what was the kart track that was 5 miles from your house?
At the time, it was Hasselbach Kart Speedway.
Yeah.
Quarter-mile road course. It's actually probably one of the 5 oldest kart tracks that's still operating in the country.
That's awesome.
Ton of history there. Through the years, it's run Ohio Sprint Series, Kingdom of Outlaws, IKF Nationals, WK District 6, and a lot of other series. As you know, ended up purchasing the track. My brother in 1992. There was a chance of it being turned into a trailer park, and we just couldn't see that happening. We were both in college at the time, didn't know any better, and
wow. Listen, because that's a dream of both David and I, to be able to have our own racetracks. I would love to own a kart track. You have one. That's fantastic. If anybody's got one they want to sell, call David and I. We'll figure out a way to own it. But so how long have you had Fremont Raceway Park for?
We bought it in 91, so we're looking at 30 years.
Wow.
First race was in July of 1960, so we're looking at 60 years of racing and under half the time.
Tell us a bit about the track. I know that we had talked about the fact before the show that our good friend AJ Whistler raced there when he was a kid. How big's the track? What's the venue like?
So we have a quarter-mile asphalt road course. It was actually one of the old courses that IKF and WK actually put in their manuals as a recommendation.
Okay.
300-foot straightaway, couple 180s, one of the hairpins real tight, and some S turns. It is a beautiful track for the sportsman and junior classes and the senior 206s. We have some great Yamaha races there, and even some of the tag and shifter guys come out there to practice because you can really work on your driving.
I have a real affinity for the old school tracks that are a little more narrow and more of a club track. Not the big 1 mile tracks we have nowadays, the sprawling, $2, $3, $4, $5 million facilities. It's those backbone tracks, I think, that are, like you said, a quarter mile long, perfect for junior racing, perfect for 206, and like you said, perfect for a shifter car driver or a tag driver who wants a workout to really work on their driving. We have to have tracks like that. So kudos to you for keeping that track alive. That's awesome.
It's been a long, fun journey, and there were a couple of times when we didn't think we were going to make it. But with the rise of the 206 program, I feel it's really saved the small local road courses.
Agreed.
We're seeing numbers grow slowly there, which is what we need. We've got, luckily, a dirt track as well on the same property, and that's kind of helped us get through some of the tough times.
Let's talk about, of course, you've had this track now for 20-something years, 25-plus years. Let's talk about the genesis of the Buckeye Karting Challenge. Again, David and I were very impressed with the numbers you guys have. You guys have put together this tremendous 206 program that runs throughout Ohio. What's the genesis of this? What was the first conversation? When did the Buckeye Karting Challenge become a reality and not just a bunch of bench talk for a bunch of guys wanting to put something together?
So it's kind of interesting. It was the fall of 2017. My son Carson was doing a lot more racing regionally and stepping it up a little bit. And he always heard me talk about the old days and the different series and all the karts and this and that. And he kept, for a couple of years probably, he was bugging me. We need to do something. We need to get a series going again and stuff. And we decided it was about time to pull the trigger. And Scott Benton was helping manage the track. I had a different promoter in there at the time. We've taken the management back over now. But Scott Benton had kind of had some thoughts about doing the same thing and said, hey, I'd love to get in on this. And he jumped in with both feet and really helped push us to make the series what it was today. The first year we ran 3 tracks. We ran Fremont, Adkins, and Thompson. Mm-hmm. So 3 smaller tracks, pretty good region. And we were tickled pink. We averaged, I believe, about 68 karts per event, ran just probably 7 classes or so. Yeah. And everybody had a great time, got very excited. And over the fall and the winter, we had tracks, drivers, sponsors all coming to us saying, hey,
of course,
we want to take this to the next level.
That's awesome. Because you look at the schedule that you guys have, and I know we'll talk more about how it's evolved and what you guys have had to do to kind of move things around because of COVID-19. But, you got Thompson, you got Atkins, like you said, you're at Wilmington as well, you're at Circleville, you're at G&J. It's like everybody came to you guys and said, hey, you guys are rebuilding like club and regional level karting here in Ohio, man. Everybody signed up on board. That's great.
It has been great. We've almost got the problem that we've got too many tracks at one. Yeah. And we work really hard as a track owner and somebody who came up through club racing. We don't want to step on the toes of the local tracks and clubs. And it's really a balancing act to not do that.
Yeah.
We actually this year instituted a bonus point program. It's not a lot, but you can earn bonus points towards our championship by competing at local tracks.
I like that. That's good. That's really good. All right, so let's talk about how things have evolved. I know you guys obviously would have already been racing by now. I believe, 1 or 2 races you guys have already had to postpone. Give us the update on how COVID-19 has affected the Buckeye Karting Challenge.
So we've actually been pretty lucky. Our first race was scheduled in early May for Camden, and that was last year the event where we pulled in 166 entries and kind of blew us away. We were not expecting it. It was a long day. We got through it. Everybody was patient. Had a great time. We continued to have great numbers through the rest of last year, but that was early in the ball game. We saw SCUSA and USPKS, and even VKA were racing, we're not racing, everything was changing and so fluid. We held off as long as we could before we decided that event we had to cancel it.
Yeah.
And get the word out. So what we did was we rolled them into October. The weather in that area is pretty decent in October in the recent years. So we rolled them into the end of the schedule at October, and our round 2 was scheduled for June 14th, this coming weekend at Thompson. And we were sweating bullets for a while. Held on for that one, and we're going full bore ahead this coming weekend at Thompson.
What is oh, sorry, David, go.
I would say it's got to make you feel good that, say, Cedar Point and Sandusky, which is a little bit close to Thompson, that they're going to be opening. So it's got to make you feel more comfortable that places like that, especially in your state, are opening to be able to host events now.
So one of the problems we've had in Ohio is people have been waiting for them to say, you can open go-kart tracks. Well, that's not going to happen, or it's not going to happen for a long time. So we are looking at a hodgepodge of rules that they have for campgrounds, for golf courses, for other sports and stuff like that. And we feel with the things we've put in place and everything else that we're good. We've talked to county health departments and other officials, and nobody said that, yes, you can, but nobody said, no, you can't. So
what is the overall status right now? Is other racing, like dirt tracks, car tracks, whatever, are they open right now? Or
Ohio has a lot of short tracks and a fair amount of bigger road courses. They've started running without spectators at the big tracks.
Okay.
The kart tracks are running as non-spectator events. They're not doing grandstands areas or bleachers for the areas that have them. You've got to be a participant or connected to a participant.
Let's go. So we're going to go on that. Let's look at the rest of the schedule we have. So first of all, let's give the promo for this weekend for Thompson. If people want to go racing and they're anywhere near the Ohio area and they want to go do something different, I know I saw a bunch of people say, "Hey, we've raced here 3 times already." They want to do something different. Talk a little bit about Thompson Raceway Park. Where is it located? Talk about the track a bit and how people can enter if they do want to come and race. So Thompson is east of Cleveland, probably less than an hour east of Cleveland, and about the same west of Pittsburgh. So it's pretty easy to get to. It's right off of Route 90, and it is an older track. It used to be smaller. They've added a couple of sections to it that gave it some nice passing opportunities, but still kept the tight sections, which make it a challenge to drive. Our pre-entries are closed as of now, but we have over 120 pre-entries. Yeah, and 206 classes are looking really good, and our senior Yamaha class is going to be another good one, which won't be a surprise to the people in the Midwest, but some of the people out might be saying, Yamaha. Yeah, we've got some of our best racing in our Yamaha classes. That's great. That's awesome.
But we do take race day entries. Okay. It's a whole $20 extra to enter on race day. So, we're not breaking anybody on that, but we really push the pre-entries, one to help with lines and social distance. And Friday is parking and setup, no on-track activity. We've really tried to gear our series to run at a very professional level, but make it comfortable and affordable for the club racers. Nice. Don't have to take a bunch of days off work. Saturday is optional practice. It's included in the entry fees. 4 rounds for each class, and then we have a free dinner that evening. Sunday, there's 1 round of practice, and we go racing.
Man, that's solid. Do you have a sponsor for the dinner? You want to give a shout out?
So the Dutt Motorsport is the sponsor of round 1 this year. So I want to give a shout out to them, and that helps cover the dinner. But also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Boss Pro Karting is a local indoor kart facility in Cleveland. It's right near the airport. They jumped in with us at year 1.
Yeah.
We came to them and said, "Hey, we want to put on this series. Can you support us?" And Lee Boss, one of the owners, actually raced WK National, sprint cars, sports cars, and some other stuff, and raced at Fremont when he was young. He jumped in and said, "Sure, tell us what you need." They've been there from the beginning. Klotz jumped in last year. Big supporter of us. Can't thank them enough for sticking with us. And then also Hoosier Kart Sport, TS Racing, and MG Tires jumped in this year. So a lot going on there.
That's awesome. That's great.
I almost hate to mention our sponsors because we got so many. I don't understand anybody.
We'll push back, and you can just roll them all out if you want.
So for people that are interested in coming, a couple of things they should know that are really different for us from the other national series. One, like them, we run rain or shine because we can't reschedule, but we run open tires. So we've got sponsorship.
That's different. Yeah.
We got sponsorship from Hoosier, Vega, and MG, and they all have pitched in quite a bit. They're giving tires to give away and helping us in other ways. So that's big. But we found that in our area, we're right in the middle of a pocket of spec tire clubs and tracks and series that unfortunately all have different spec tires.
I hear you. Yep.
And we're not quite big enough that people want to spend the money for spec tires for our series, but they can come and run one race or the whole series on the tires they have and use them up and be competitive. And it's working out really well for us.
Yeah, I think your numbers prove that, David.
I was going to say, kind of go over the classes that you do offer, because as you said, Yamaha is a category that you guys run. So people may not be familiar with the categories that you do offer.
So we'll run through the 206 ones first because they're pretty easy. We run the Sportsman, Junior, Senior at 365, and Masters. And unlike a lot of other series, we don't have a heavy and a light, and you have to choose Masters or Senior. You can't run both. And several reasons for that. One, we actually are trying to keep our senior numbers under control because of this track sizes. Some of the places we're running, we have to split big races and stuff like that. I think we had 42, 43 seniors at Camden last year.
I remember that.
We've got over 20 pre-entered for Thompson already. And there's some more I know aren't entered. So we've got our 206 classes. And then on the two-cycle side, we've got 50cc Comers, Micro Swift. Them are both pretty standard classes. And then we've got Yamaha Sportsman and Yamaha Junior. And then we've got Yamaha Senior Can, Tag, which the tag class we got pushed into adding a little bit, and that's kind of kicking off. That's looking like that's going to be a real good class. And then we've got KA Senior and KA Masters. So,
well, I think the tag thing is good because it's kind of you can put all the different types of tag engines out there, because as you said, a lot of programs are spec tire, spec engines, where the tag categories are great for clubs and for programs such as yours that takes club racers to different tracks to be able to run the Road Tax or the Rock or the IAME engines all together.
Well, a lot of people will know the name Sean Cook from Cook Racing Engine. He pushed us a little bit on that. He's like, hey, I know a lot of guys that have these engines that are on the shelves or on carts, and they want to come race. Now, the tags we're only doing at 3 of the tracks. Thompson is one of them. But it's the tag challenge by Cook Racing Engines. And we've got, I think we're going to end up with around 14 tags or so. So, yeah, that's a nice field for.
That's great. That's a perfect regional field for sure. All right, I want to give your class lineup. Let me go run through the schedule, your schedule. I have that here. So June 14th this weekend at Thompson Kart Raceway. A month later, July the 19th, you're set to go to Adkins Raceway Park. Middle of August, but another month later, again, you're going up to your track at Fremont. A couple weeks later to Wilmington Raceway Park. End of September, Circleville Raceway Park. And then, as you had mentioned before, back at G&J to Camden at the end of October. It seems like you guys like to have that kind of month separation with this. There is a little bit of a change there, but it's usually about every month for you guys. Is that kind of what you guys have tried to do with cadence?
That's what we tried for, but we really also tried to work with a lot of the other organizations, especially USAC. We really tried to work with them, and Route 66 is on the edge of our region. There's a few guys that do that in USPKS with us. Battle of the Brickyard obviously is on everybody's schedule, and Elkhart. And we've got some local street races we try to work around. So the schedule's pretty good. That we've got 2 of them that only have a week in between, but they're spaced out nicely. And I really like the diversity of the tracks that we're going to. Wilmington, a lot of people probably aren't familiar with that.
No.
It's fairly new. It's got one really long straightaway. It's got one kind of winding sort of straightaway, and then a tight section and some elevation change. And then most people know G&J in Camden's bigger track. And then, we've got the smaller, tighter tracks. So you've got to be well versed in our series to do well.
Yeah, it sounds like to win a championship, you have to be able to handle so many different kind of racetracks, which I think is great. Let's now focus back on your racetrack. What is the status right now? What's the approach post-COVID or mid-COVID-19 for Fremont Raceway Park?
So I want to step back one thing. Back to the BKC real quick. We talked about
as much time as you want.
The different tracks and that you have to be well-versed. But besides the different tracks, you actually got to be a real racer and not just a fast driver, because we still use a pill draw and a 2-heat system.
Yes.
So if you win a BKC race, you've earned it.
I like that.
You've got to be able to pass karts, not just go fast. And we had a lot of talk over the past year about, going to qualifying. Some of the fast guys didn't like working their way through. And when it came down to it, the majority of our racers said, hey, we don't want to go spend a whole weekend and pass 3 karts. We want to race. And that's it makes it really interesting. And so much.
We're on your side, Scott. Don't worry.
Do most of the clubs already use that system already?
Yes, most of the clubs in our use that.
So that's something not new to the racers who are pretty much doing your program already. It's for all the other clubs who, you give them, you make them put their hand in the thing to get the P, and they're like, what do you mean? What, don't I just go qualify to get my spot?
Yeah, no, listen, the P pick and the invert, the flip flop for the heat races, that's how you teach drivers to race. And we do that. We don't do that at the national level anymore. There's lots of drivers that are fast, and you watch them on a weekend, they've passed, like you said, maybe 2 or 3 karts all weekend long. And that's not how you learn to race. As soon as they get put in the back of the pack, they can't pass anybody. So we're big fans. I know David and I are both big fans of the P pick. I think it's the way to go.
And that's where we wanted to actually fill the gap. We're getting close to some of the numbers and stuff, but we're not a national series. We're pulling great numbers. We have great support, but we like where we are. We want to be that step where the club racers can go before they go to Route 66 or SCUSA or Cup Karts and gain some more experience there. We've got some racers in the BKC that win at Cup Karts, win or finish at the top of Route 66 and SCUSA and at Newcastle and Elkhart and Indy. So the competition's there, but it's a good stepping stone.
Well, it's crucial to have that, Scott. We talk a lot about the pyramid of karting, right, with the clubs and then regional, then national, and you have to have that place for club racers to go when they want to get better. So kudos to you on that. I think that's amazing. David, anything else for BKC, or can we jump to Fremont now?
Let's go.
All right. Scott, tell us what's going on with Fremont. Where are you in terms of the club track? We talked about what BKC is doing amid the COVID-19 kind of restrictions. Where are you guys with Fremont?
So we actually will have our first point race on the 28th. We should have had a couple of point races since then. We try to run once or twice a month, enough to keep people active, but not interfere completely with family life and other races and tracks and series. So we actually opened the season with a VKA event.
Oh, awesome.
That one was really touch and go. I had a lot of concerns about health and safety with the older crowd there. And we really enforced the social distancing there. We brought in a hand washing station that people know it was there. We asked them to use that. The no handshaking, stayer trailers for the drivers meeting over the PA and all that. So weather was not pretty, but we still had I think around 50 for our VKA event. So
well, listen, The vintage racers have been sniffing racing fuel all their life, so they're half pickled anyways. That didn't kill them.
They told us that, after all the clots that they've breathed in and everything else, they're pretty much immune to
methanol, the tire prep.
We opened the season with that. It went pretty well, and we had been doing a few private practice sessions without advertising it, and we decided, okay, seems people can be smart, use their head. We rolled into private and semi-private practice sessions. People were aching for something to do. Everything was closed. They wanted to go racing and stuff. We've had a really good spring with that, and once again, just kept control. Asked people to use their heads, and we've got actually COVID-19 waivers where we ask about their health and ask them to be responsible and sign off there and stuff. So our first race back, we did almost completely under the radar, and we had people come from Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Showed up for that, mostly Yamaha and 206 classes for that. Good turnout for that. We ran last weekend. Not a great weekend to run, to be honest, with a lot of graduation stuff going on. Yeah. Thompson had, happy for them, they had a great opener. A lot of people went there to get tuned up for this weekend for the
Yep.
So we knew that was going to happen, and it was a non-points race for us. So they had a good show there. We had a good day, and we're real excited about moving forward with the season at Fremont.
So you have your hands in everything, which I think is awesome. Obviously, you have the track, you have Fremont, you got the BKC, but there's also some big street races. I know most people, at least they've been in the sport for 20 plus years, have heard of Commercial Point. But we talked before we went on, and you kind of brought up this Clyde Grand Prix. What's this Clyde GP all about?
So the Clyde Grand Prix runs the third full weekend in September. It has this will be the 27th year if it goes forward, and it should. There's COVID concerns, but there were actually some other concerns before COVID came around about financing it. Because it's once again, it's a low entry fee, local type event, and the fair board actually puts money into it. And it was getting a little expensive, so the karting community got behind it and got some support with sponsors and stuff for that. But we run everything at that, from kid kart to Yamahas. We've run shifters. We actually ran champ karts or cage karts in the past.
Yeah, I love it.
Clones, stock Predator, piped Yamahas. Over the history, we've had anywhere from around 65 to 160, 170 entries there. So we're looking forward to that in September. It's kind of a good way for people to wrap up their year. It's in the fall, and the spectators come out like crazy, and it's just a good time. We have a chicane. It's a old style Elkhart type chicane. Straw bales. Yep. And there is a group, they're controversial sometimes. They call themselves the Shit Cane Gang because of all the shit that happens. And they bring out posters and really root on the racers. They have T-shirts made. They donate money to charity for
That's awesome.
Seats on a trailer with great views and stuff. Some of the racers, if it's the last race of the day for them, they'll pick up a beer there and take it up and stuff.
I like that.
It sounds like turn 2 at Rock Island. It used to be kind of the similar thing.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and they see a lot of action in that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Scott, where if people first I've heard of this race, it's wild. I've been doing this for 20 something years. Where do people find? Is there a website? Is there a page on your website? Where can people find out more about the Clyde Grand Prix?
So the Buckeye Karting Challenge supports the Clyde Grand Prix and Commercial Point because we're really not in this for ourselves. We're in this to support karting in Ohio and the karters in the region. So there will be information shared by our Facebook page and on our web page But the Clyde Grand Prix also has a Facebook page. If you search, you'll find that. Fremont Raceway Park's also on Facebook. Like us, follow us, and you'll see the information for Clyde on there as well. And we also, the Commercial Point Grand Prix, it's interesting. Clyde goes as the longest continuously run street race in Ohio, because it's been running for 27 years straight. Commercial Point is the oldest street race in Ohio. They started in the early 60s. Unfortunately, they took a break for 5 or 10 years at some point in the middle and started back up in the 90s. So Commercial Point's another great race that we like to support. Commercial Point Karting Classic, they have a Facebook page, a web page, and of course we'll share all their information as well.
Yeah, and what we'll do is when we're done here too, we'll go on and find those pages. We'll share out some stuff. They posted some stuff. We'll share it out on EKN so people can see that as well. Let's wrap things up here, David. Any other questions for Scott before we maybe do a quick wrap on the opener at Thompson this weekend?
No, I think we covered it. We covered classes that'll be run there. What to be aware of. What one kind of thing about scheduling? How many club races are typically run by these tracks that you kind of go to? Because we see a lot of club tracks have 15 to 17 race weekends just for clubs. So I'm wondering how all that, you were factoring in USPKS, SCUSA, Route 66, CKNA, how that all kind of mingles and you stir it up and boom, there's your schedule.
So the tracks that we've worked with have all agreed not to hold club races on other BKC weekends, which
nice.
In general, the club racers aren't going to a lot of the other big races and series. So the clubs are running on some of them races. Fremont, we have, I think we'll end up with 11 races this year. Thompson has a few more. OVKA at Camden, they have quite a few, but actually Circleville doesn't even have a club schedule this year, unfortunately, but they are open for practice. So great place to test if you want to get a hold of them. Wilmington only runs 206 carts there. Okay. It's not a big issue. But we the scheduling is probably one of the most challenging parts of.
No doubt.
Yeah. of everywhere, right? It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
All right, Scott, this weekend, folks, if you're looking for a place to go have some fun in obviously 206, in KA100, in micro, in the Comer class, the kid karts, and in Yamaha. If you want to pull the Yamaha out, head to Thompson Kart Raceway. Let's go with the 206 senior class. Who's the hot shot there? Who are the guys to beat? I want to find out.
Hold on. I won't even put him in trouble. I'll just say Gary Lawson because Gary's going. Is he racing, right?
I don't think Gary's going to race.
Oh, okay. I knew he was going, so I just figured I'd throw his name
probably
out there.
Scared.
So Gary runs good at Thompson. Gary runs good everywhere.
He runs good everywhere. That's right.
He cut his teeth at Thompson when he was young, but his son is running kid kart, won our championship here. So he's going to be, I think, pretty busy with them, and he helps some of the other racers and helps us out sometimes. But in 206 senior, it's going to be interesting. Eric Fagan, who's got
okay.
He won our championship last year, and he hasn't pre-entered Thompson yet, so we'll see if he shows up or not. I know he's
under the radar.
He's got a busy schedule. We've also got Ian Quinn, who's been stepping into the national scene a little bit more. Mm-hmm. He ran Florida, and he's doing USPKS and some other stuff, but because of some scheduling conflicts, he's probably not going to run our full series. He'll be at Thompson and some of the other races, but that opens a door for Michael Miller, Dylan Johns, Curtis Harrington, Eric Goldstein, Carson Smith's jumping into that class this year, and some other people. And AJ Roderick, if he shows up at Thompson, he's really tough there. So
okay, now let's go to David Nye's class right now. First off, for the Masters 206, what weight do you run it at?
390, 35 years or older, or 330 and over if you're 200 pounds plus.
We know David and I are both like 200 pounds. We have to put 25 or 30 pounds on the cart to hit 390, 395.
I would love to be able to run masters, but I have to add weight to hit like 350. So
yeah, I know. We're big dudes. Anyway, so okay, who are your fast guys in masters?
So masters is going to be interesting again. Last year was really tight between Kevin Picklesheimer, who we talked about last year a little bit.
Yep.
He runs for Coyote, had a really strong year last year. Then we've got Frank Sullivan and Frank Massandrea, who are going to be tough. It's going to depend again on who shows up, but them guys are a blast because they, in our series, everybody comes off the track friends for the most part.
I like that.
Them guys in particular, they come off the track, they're laughing, they're hugging each other. No hugging for you guys this year.
Yeah, no hugging.
They're helping each other through the whole weekend and everything. So that's a great class.
Okay, so two things right now. Yeah, okay. Here's the first thing I want to say is the reason why I was giving a couple shout outs. The reason why I found out about you guys was Keith Freeber last year that said, "Hey, you gotta hear about this BKC race." And I was like, "Man, okay." And that's when I reached out to talk to you guys. And then we get a shout out from a legend himself, Randy Kugler. Says, got on here late, but I hope Scott mentioned the killer banquet they had last year. The awards were phenomenal. I know a lot of programs like yours, Scott, when it's not about making money, you guys do whatever you can to get money or get a lot of prizes at the awards banquet. Give us a little kind of a sneak preview of what you get when you're a BKC racer at season's end.
So first, I want to thank Keith through Margay. They were sponsoring the Camden event, which got bumped back, so they'll get theirs at the end of the season. But Keith was kind of like you guys. He heard about us through social media and some other stuff and said, "Hey, what's this all about?" Margay came in and supported us, and we try to do some really cool things at our races and at the banquet. We had Jason Burgess flagging for us at Camden last year. He may show up again at some race this year sometime. Randy Kugler announces for some of our races, and he emceed our banquet, which Lake Speed was our guest speaker at.
Man, that's awesome.
And as far as awards, every single driver that competed in the BKC that came to our banquet last year went home with something, probably at least a $50 value, if not more. Our entry fees are unbelievably low for the value that you get and compared to racing today. So we don't give a lot away at our weekly or our point races. Mm-hmm. We do give awards, and we do a lot of giveaways, a lot of tires, chains, fuel, t-shirt, oil, stuff like that. But our banquet, the champions get a really, really nice I wish I had one with me. The award is the outline of the state of Ohio in like plexiglass, and it's a really cool award. The trophies for everyone else were great. We gave away a cart last year in a drawing. We're giving away a trailer for this year.
A trailer.
Wow. So there's a lot going on.
I don't know if you saw David's face, Scott, but you mentioned Ohio and state together in one sentence, and I got Dave all fired up because he's from Michigan. He's a Michigan guy.
We've got a few competitors from East Lansing, Flat Rock, and the old Michigan Kart Club, and like that come down and tread in our waters. We've got people from Pit Race that join in. A few from like Kentucky and West Virginia, and then the Indiana contingent from SIRA and USAC. And
that's awesome.
And Whiteland.
Well, Scott, it's one of those lines we keep saying, right? If you build it, they will come. You guys have built this amazing series, and people want to come. Numbers breed numbers. We talk about that all the time, and you guys have put together something really special, which is great for Ohio and great for everybody in the surrounding states as well. So congratulations to everything that you've done, and of course the staff and everybody, all the volunteers to make this thing happen. Congratulations on this.
Oh, the staff and sponsors couldn't do it without them. I want to give one more shout out to Scott Benton and Carson, all of our racers and our staff that a lot of them are volunteers, get some token pay. then especially the sponsors. Once again, Klotz is our title sponsor, Boss, Pro Karting, TS Racing, Hoosier Kart Racing, and MG Tires. They've all been phenomenal, along with all of our class sponsors and associate sponsors and everybody else.
All right, folks, this weekend, the Buckeye Karting Challenge getting back rolling at Thompson Kart Raceway, right? Thompson Kart Raceway. Let me get it right. Move in on Friday, practice on Saturday, going racing like crazy with the P-Pick on Sunday, folks. So, guys, make sure if you want somewhere new to go, try out this series because everything I hear about it, it's a fantastic program. Lots more races to come as well. But if you want to go racing somewhere a little different this year, just east of Cleveland, as Scott said, at Thompson Kart Raceway this weekend. So check them out online. Make sure you follow them on Facebook as well. Scott, thank you for joining us, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Weather's going to be great. We're looking forward to seeing everyone.
That's it. Little racing by the lake, ladies and gentlemen. That was Scott Smith from the Buckeye Karting Challenge. David, he keeps inviting me to come down to these races, and they're always on top of something else I've got to do. And, of course, now with the COVID deal, I think I'm 15 races and 18 weekends, so it's going to be a little nuts. I want to get down to one of these races for sure, though, because it seems like something I think you and I would both really like to do.
Yeah, 2020 is a little bit hard to fit in schedules here and there. You know, obviously we're not going anywhere until the month of July. Yeah. You know, I have personal reasons. You have border reasons.
I can't get across the border right now.
so that has the issues. So. But yeah, it's, you know, again, it's that grassroots foundation. That's, you know, that's where it's building at. Like he said, even at his track, he's got the Briggs and Stratton program is helping to rebuild the club again. So it's just it gets people off the couch and on the racetrack. And then, you know, 2 or 3 years at the club, they start looking for a little bit more. And that's what, you know, I love those state championships, you know, because in the old days, they used to be, you know, that was your regional program was you going to all the different tracks in your state. And if you won that series, you were the top guy from your state.
Champion.
So that was
state champion.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we had it with Buchanan, East Lansing. And as he said, Flat Rock used to be a big track. So we had that here in the state of Michigan. California obviously had, you know, massive state championships over the number of years. So it's good to see those states who do have multiple racetracks to be able to put together a program like this.
Matt Abel dropped down, says come out to G&J in October. I think that weekend, though, is the same as the finale at St. Petersburg for IndyCar. So I may be screwed on that. But, David, we may be able to get you out there for that race.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It might be a little cold in Ohio, but it's before Michigan plays that school down there, so I'll be able to wear my Go Blue shirt very proudly. We
might have to get you a eKartingNews Go Blue suit, like a whole suit.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. All right, guys, we're wrapping things up again. Thank you so much for Scott for joining us to talk about the Buckeye Karting Challenge. When I heard about it last year from Keith Freber, went online, saw the numbers they had in that first race. Man, I was blown away, and to be able to see again the Briggs 206 program really has helped it. David, Yamaha. Like 16, 17, 18 Yamahas. I like seeing that, you know, obviously a lot of guys are going KA right now, but Yamaha's still a great club and regional motor.
You can buy them really cheap right now. There's no doubt about it. Yep. And again, you can make them last at the club level. And again, you don't, you know, when you're at that level of competition, you don't have to keep pouring money into it. You know, you just keep racing it over, put a new piston in, you'll be good to go.
That's it. All right, folks. Again, big thank you for tuning into this edition of Face to Face, episode number 14. As we continue to work our way through here, of course, the stay-at-home order still kind of locked down, but everything's opening up. It's opening up here in Ontario. I know it's opening up in Michigan and opening up pretty much in all the states. We're hearing more tracks like Cal Speed are starting to open up in California. I believe they ran a big car race, an amateur race, an SCCA race at Laguna Seca this past weekend. So we're going to have Mike Smith on. He's going to come and join us from Cal Speed Karting in Fontana on Thursday. He'll tell us kind of about what's going on there, what their plans are. We may try to get another one of the track owners, track managers from California to join in to kind of have a kind of California-centric program. We're also going to pick a winner of our first social media challenge for the hashtag Support Karting. If you haven't ordered one of the Support Karting t-shirts to support the karting industry, go to eKartingNews.com/store. When you get your shirts, make sure you post a picture on social media. Use the hashtag tag eKartingNews.com. We're going to be giving out a bunch of gift packs throughout probably the next couple of months. I think if people keep posting, keep buying, we're going to keep giving away more stuff. So We do appreciate that. We appreciate everybody. David, wrap it up for the day. It's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's time to get the grill going.
Fire. Don't even say I don't have a grill. Just living in a condo is fantastic when I'm traveling like I do. I just lock the door and go, but just locked down into a 950 square feet, I'm going crazy.
It happens.
I'm going to be on track next week with.
I was say go golfing or something. Go hit a 9 right now.
I played golf last Thursday. It was fantastic.
There you go.
Changed my world.
Go do it again.
I'm going to go play some more golf. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. If you have anybody you want us to interview that we have not yet interviewed yet, we're lining things up for the next couple of weeks. We've got more coming on as well. We're going to get a shop tour from Odenthal Manufacturing coming up in a couple of weeks as well. I just got off the phone with Alex and David Odenthal. So that's going to be coming. That'll be a pretty cool deal. They've got some great news coming up too, some special news coming. But again, folks, we appreciate you tuning in here at EKN. Appreciate all your comments. Thank you so much. We're doing what we can to make sure we keep pushing positivity into the sport and getting people excited because we are going back to racing. Can't wait to see you all at the racetrack soon. Take care, folks. Book it.